Today we're doing a little whiskey because why not? Hello my loves, welcome to Artist's Way week 3, which actually took me another month to do. I don't know what it is with me, but I'm just gonna have to accept myself as I am because this is the reality, and once you accept the reality you can move forward. Before you cannot. So I will not waste my time in denial. It took me another month to do the Artist's Way week 3. Wow, this Artist's Way week 3 shook a lot of my inner child healing. You know, in my inner child pain, a lot of things have been happening this week that was just shaking my core. And it's so interesting how everything is connected. You know, even one of the questions it said it's like about synchronicity, and everything is very synchronistical because I'm editing my book called Heal Her, the Alchemy of a Convoluted Woman, which is a poetry and prompts book that's gonna guide the reader, you, on a journey, a self-healing journey, a heroic journey, a heroine's journey from a messy, convoluted woman to the alchemy of her becoming everything she ever wanted. Healed, a healed, successful, amazing, out in the world, doing her best, living her potential, being the goddess that she is, and the diva kind of woman. The woman that some of us know we have inside, you know, and some of us have just like numbed her so much that we have killed her and we don't even have a clue that she's inside. And this is why we do this kind of work, the Artist's Way, to rescue her from the dungeons of our painful past. And I have rescued a lot of parts of me from the dungeons of my very painful past that I didn't even think it was that painful. So I'm grateful for this because one of the sentences that was here that was just like I've underlined a lot and I've done all the work. And yes, it takes a month because I believe I've done a lot of deep work reading this. I don't know if somebody can just read this casually and be like, oh, let me answer these questions and not have an emotional turmoil like bringing up all of these things, but I do. I do, also because I'm an emotional manifestor on human design, so I am here to be emotional and dramatic because I'm a diva. The sentence was, by telling our shame secrets around our art and telling them through our art, we release ourselves and others from darkness. I was reading this sentence and this whole chapter was very much about creating a safe environment, understanding that maybe you had shame in your childhood that you weren't able to deal with, or other feelings, and your artist was shamed, and there are many ways that this could have happened, you know. And I saw it all. I hope I saw it all because I saw a lot. I don't know if I saw it all, but I saw a lot. If I may share my shame secrets around my art and telling them through my art, which my art I believe is storytelling, poetry, which I tell a lot through my poetry, and just being, you know, me in a way, because I'm an artist, let's say that, like a diva. You know, I see the divas like Maria Callas or I don't know, Jennifer Lopez, putting them in the same category, yes, because they are. Beyonce, everybody has all these dramas and, you know, they just let it all out and they're free, and I'm gonna do the same here. Thank you for listening to me. What happened? I realized why, you know, in a way, I wanted to be famous my whole life, and I thought I was special my whole life. And this is a big confession because I never said this out loud, like casually. I always kept it as a secret, and then whenever there was an opportunity with a safe friend or somebody that loves me, I would just like, oh, you know, I wanted to be famous and I want to be, but I wouldn't really like own it. I want to be famous. I'm a star. I'm a diva. I'm supposed to be known around the world with all these crazy stories that I have. Yes, I never owned it. And I realized what happened. Pretty much I had a crazy past few weeks where everything normally that goes normal in my life, my way, just was a domino effect of really weird things. What happened was I had this beauty treatment. I think I talked about this on the previous video, but I'm adding to that because a lot more happened. Had this beauty treatment. It was supposed to be my face. The lady was putting needles on my face, which I'm okay with, great. I told her put lots of numbing cream. I feel pain a lot, and she's like, oh, do you want to see how much it hurts without the numbing cream? And I was like, no, I'm okay. And she went here on my chest, which I still have a thing. Still, to this day, after a month, I still have the thing, which is trauma. And she hurt me. And it wasn't the pain, the physical pain wasn't that much, honestly, it's okay, whatever. But that scared me so much that I went into a full-on anxiety attack and panic attack, and I couldn't, I was like crying and breathing and immediately came the image of my father. So, the secret. My father, who was the best father in the world, was also the worst father in the world, because I believe he came from a very broken childhood, and his mother died when he was 4. Then his father became an alcoholic, gambled all his fortune away. They were very rich, and then he was poor, and then his father died of being an alcoholic and left my father and 6 other brothers and sisters, and he had to grow up, never be a child. He had to start working to support the family because his father left them with a lot of debt, and from rich to poor, which is terrible. So a lot of trauma there. Then his older brother, who was his hero, died. A lot of trauma, and he never processed this trauma. What can you do? It's Brazil in the 60s, 70s. No one processed, no psychologist or anything. He eventually became an alcoholic, and he had this side of him that was a childlike person. My best friend in my childhood, he would just play with me, give me toys, do everything that was amazing. And I'm just noticing that I'm talking about my alcoholic father while I'm having whiskey, but no, this is not normal for me, okay? I do this like once every 5 months, maybe, have whiskey. Anyhow, I hope, maybe I'm fooling myself. What is happening here is that my father didn't process his pain, and he had the light side, which was the best dad in the world. Oh my God, we were like playing. He was so cool. He had all the ideas, and he was so loving to me. He would tell me how good I was, how amazing my ideas were, how I'm gonna succeed in life. Yes, I can do it. Yes, he was so encouraging. If I ever had an idea like, oh, let's do this, a creative idea, he was the first one to say, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's figure out how. I would tell him like my crazy plans. I want to study in America when I was 15. And he goes, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. So he was that dad, and I was definitely daddy's girl. What happened? He also had a lot of pain inside, grief. He didn't process emotionally. And I guess whenever he was a bit, over the edge, he would drink. And when he would drink, he would forget. He would forget everything. He left me in school until 9, 10 p.m. many times. So not only I have the abandonment wounds, check, from my father, check. I also have them from my mother, who left me at 8 to go live in Portugal. So yeah, I've been abandoned by both parents. Wonderful. Yes, thank you God for the suffering package, complete. Okay, wonderful. 5-star reviews. Then my dad not only abandoned me because I think he would get drunk and he wouldn't drive to pick me up at school. I just recently started remembering, after doing a lot of meditation, a lot of emotional digging, a lot of therapy, that he also beat me physically. Like, I remember one time just me as a child playing, and I think my cousin and I don't know, did some childish thing, hurt each other. I don't know what it was exactly, but it was child stuff. And my dad took a belt or some sort of chain. I remember being metallic. It wasn't just a belt, and he hit me with that thing. Furthermore, and this all I figured out by watching this video, it ends with us, where the husband accidentally hurt the wife. When I saw that video, I was like, accidentally? mm, and then I did some meditation, and my dad was always accidentally hurting me. One time he kind of like, I have a scar here, and he was driving his bike and he hit this gate, and he saw I was behind the gate, and the gate came and hit me on the face, and I just ended up waking up in the hospital being stitched as a child, like under 8. I was probably 6 or 7. So that said that, okay, that's a piece of the puzzle, correct? And I was like, oh my god, I'm healing from this piece of the puzzle. I was abused physically and abandoned by my father, the man that loved me, so I don't trust men. And subsequently, because God is supposedly the masculine figure, I don't trust God. No wonder I don't trust anybody in life, blah blah blah. No wonder I'm single. So I had this whole analysis going on. Then just randomly, I was telling my mom that I had done something. She's like, oh no, you didn't do it. So memories started coming that my mom, she was criticizing me. She was the opposite of my dad, and she told me specifically that she didn't want me to be a spoiled only child. So she would say, no, you're not gonna do it. She would do the opposite as my dad, you know. She would just criticize me, never, you know, look at what I was doing, all my creative work. She's like, no, that's not good enough. I used to have a TV work when I was an adult, and she was ashamed of me. Every time I try to be artistic, she's like, no. Hence, I became a flight attendant and not the artist. But it's not her fault, okay? So, as an adult, I understand all these things that happen, and I don't blame them. But as a child, I understood what was the programming that I got. The programming I got was, if I am a star, like my dad recognizes me as such, and my dreams can come true, and my creative ideas can be realized, and my artist self can thrive, I will probably be physically hurt. But if I'm mediocre, like my mom used to tell me I was, I would be safe physically, not emotionally. So between physical pain or emotional pain, I decided for the emotional pain, which I don't know why, as a child, it felt a little more safe. So even though I knew I had the star qualities, I would just keep myself small. How did I find out about this? How did I connect all these dots? I was telling my friend Nilo that all these things were happening wrong. The girl hurt me, then I was going to my tango show. The girl hurt me after I did this class online, and that I shined, and I was channeling, and I was being like my potential, and I was doing all the things that I came here in this world to do. The day after I got hurt. So then I was gonna do the tango show. Somebody hit my car in the back when I was in the red light. Then a lot of different things happened, like at work somebody accused me of something, then this happened, tiny things that normally wouldn't bother me, but I felt like my nervous system was being tested and tested and tested, but it wasn't being tested. I was being shown throughout these days of things going wrong, my patterns. And my patterns were, if I am seen, I get hurt. Something wrong happens to me, I better be small. And if I'm small, I'm criticized, I am not loved, but at least I'm not hurt. And I realized the dynamics of my duality, and the pull and the strength and the fighting within me. And it's exhausting. It is exhausting. It is exhausting. I'm exhausted. So, realizing all of this was very important for my artist journey, because suddenly, after being tested all this month with my nervous system, I finally went to a psychic that normally helps me, and she just confirmed everything I kind of had already realized, and she added a little more pepper to it, and she said that this didn't happen once, Livia. This happened throughout your whole childhood. It was a whole childhood of abuse, neglect, and not knowing who to turn to. You didn't feel safe turning to anybody, so you would just stay like small in the corner. And it takes a long time for your nervous system to recover, to heal. And you need to keep doing the work, and you need to show up every day, and you need to give yourself what you weren't receiving in your childhood. And yeah, I think it's important to realize that whatever you didn't to receive in your childhood from your parents or from the world is what you lack the most nowadays in your life, and it's what you most expect in an entitled way sometimes, unconscious of course, to receive from other people in the world. And it's the thing that you most need to just give yourself. Yes. And so I started slowly realizing that I had to give myself the validation that my mother didn't give me, and the protection that my father didn't give me. And I had to keep myself safe from myself, because nowadays, obviously, not that you can see it from a lens that I'm the creator of my reality. So I created somebody hurting me. I created somebody hitting me in the car. I created all that so I could see that that's the pattern that I believe in. I believe that if I shine, I will be hurt. And that's hard, if you want to be an artist and you want to speak to millions, and I see myself, hello, opening the hearts of millions of people in the world and just being in a huge stage. And imagine, the more people see me, the more I'll be hurt, Maybe I also have some past life fear of getting a bullet from being on a stage. You never know. But once I saw all that, once I was aware, then it's when I felt I had the power to do something about it. Have I done something about it? No. No. However, I did notice a lot of my nervous system patterns being returned to my childhood. Even my psychic said that what happened here, that the girl hurt me. I was time traveled. I went back to the nervous system that I had when I was a child. And I realized, I saw very clearly how unsafe I felt, that I couldn't trust anybody. I was betrayed by my mother, I was betrayed by my father, so I couldn't trust my feminine, I couldn't trust my masculine, I couldn't trust the feminine or the masculine, and I was just keeping myself small and tight and just there enough that if I don't move too much, I don't create anything. And then I realized also throughout some work conflicts that have been a little bit triggering, but I was able to see that my reaction, some people have different reactions, some fight, some flight, and some freeze. I definitely freeze and then possibly flight. I don't fight, but some people fight and flight, or, depends on what they had as a childhood, what was their package of suffering, because I'm sure everybody had one, because I'm not that special that God gave me all the suffering of the world. Okay. However, I've been noticing this with people that I'm having a little conflict here and there, and also noticing where I see myself in a different way, where I see myself as, I did nothing wrong, let me defend myself from all of this. But it's not about that kind of dynamic. It's not about who did something right or wrong. And that's what my brain was always trying to analyze, like who's right and who's wrong. And I could never figure it out, because honestly, I wasn't right or wrong. I was just there in a situation. And the psychic also helped me see my dad, because it's very hard to put somebody that you love so much in a box, like, oh, he was the best dad in the world, or he was the worst dad in the world. And I think that being in a balanced way in this world, and owning yourself and being mature and doing the unius mentalis work of uniting both parts and creating unity within ourselves and in the world and in life, is realizing that people have their good and their bad. Not only other people, you do too, I do too. And when you can realize that that's humanity, that's what we come here for, to experience this duality that is on this earth, in this matrix. And we can just accept the duality as one. Like, the worst dad in the world and the best dad in the world were my father. And if I can not judge neither part, because I can understand. Of course, I need to hold my inner child. She didn't understand, but that's my job now. I cannot blame him anymore, because that doesn't help me help her. You know what I mean? And the synchronicity is that I was editing my book, and it was all about my depression episode. That it's all about feeling your feelings, feeling the depression. These are the pain hiding inside of you that you try to deny for a long time. And it's connected to my father's death. He died in 2012 on May 13th. And this week, this whole month actually, thanks to all of these memories coming and all these events, my father's death became very present, and it hasn't been a lot. Every year goes by and I'm like, oh, okay, he died. But it had been very present, because when he died, I only saw the good part of him. I only saw that he was the good dad. And I will tell you the story of how he died, because it's quite miraculous. But after now, I realized that, okay, would I have tried to save his life so much? He was in the hospital dying of cancer. If I knew he was the guy that beat me, would I have done so many sacrifices in my life to go save him? To make so much effort into saving his life, if I knew he was the one that messed me up in a way. And my whole chapter on depression is about all these unfelt feelings of conflict, of sadness, that I didn't even know why I had so much sadness inside of me. I thought I was a happy person. And that's why it was so interesting that I'm dealing with this right now personally in my life, and I'm also dealing with this in my book, that I already thought I dealt with this, but in a more surface way, and now I'm really going deeper on it. So it's gonna be like, wow, amazing. And then I use this power that I released from hating him, from blaming him, from holding him accountable. I release, and he is already dead, by the way, so he's very released. He definitely fight and flight, he did not freeze. My mom used to freeze. So I use that energy to nurture myself in many ways. And when I was talking to my friends about my traumas and to the psychic and just my own realizations, like I said, whatever was missing in your childhood, you have to give it to yourself, is that I must parent myself. I must be my mother, I must be my father. I must stop expecting this to happen from any outside source. I will not be saved, not even Jesus, And I have a poem about that. I should read it. No, I'll put it in somewhere else. I realized that for me to be the whole diva, the convoluted woman, the star, the incredible, sexy, life-changing, heart-opening poet, writer, author, successfully published, and talking to Oprah about all of my childhood traumas, yes, it's gonna happen. I need to own both sides of me, actually all sides of me, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and recover a sense of safety within myself, which was being my mother, being my father, accepting myself as I am, accepting my lacks, accepting that I will have to fulfill them, I will have to do something about it, and letting myself be me. And also, it says here, God helps those who help themselves. Exactly, as I said, helping me and just allowing, not helping me in a way that I don't need anybody, I'm gonna make it happen myself, because I also had a lot that attitude growing up in a war zone. You kind of become very hyper independent. I am slowly learning how to depend on friends. Throughout this week, it was so hard on my nervous system that I couldn't do it alone. I called friends to help me, and I was never doing this before. I would call friends after I recovered, but I would never call friends within the situation, like if I was in the suffering situation, I don't want to bother people. And I realized, no, I can't do that to myself. I need help. And so I started calling friends in my anxiety attacks while I needed the help. And that was quite refreshing, because I let myself be helped when I really needed it. And it felt so beautiful, so soothing. I felt so much love inside. Thank you to my friends who have helped me. Another thing I wanted to add was that, now I'm gonna have a blank. Oh, I started noticing my patterns, of, okay, my mind goes into, first of all, this is an emergency, whatever it's happening, when it's not. It's just I'm used to being in really bad situations, and it's a little bit dramatic inside, so I'm wired for drama. But mainly I would create the emergency, so I could mentally create the solution for the emergency, because if I created the solution for the emergency, then I was a good, amazing, successful person. And I believe that maybe I did that as a child, when I saw myself in a situation that I couldn't turn to anybody to help me, that I had to somehow figure out this riddle, figure out this puzzle, so I could get out of this alive, and I don't think I've ever did. I got out of it alive. I'm still alive, but I guess at some point you numb all these parts of yourself. You don't want to feel the pain, and I definitely didn't want to feel the pain for a lot of years, and lately I've been feeling that pain and just realizing the suffering that I had, the pain that I have. And it's not that I want to go back into my past and just feel sorry for myself, but if you have unfelt pain that you don't recognize, and it's not as an adult that we're like, oh no, it's good, my mom did her best, my dad did his best, I get it, I'm in a spiritual journey, I understand how hard it is to be a human without therapy, but no, my inner child, my child self, maybe she didn't have that, and that is ingrained in my body, in my brain, and definitely my body, because I had a body convulsion that jolted me to my childhood nervous system. So I believe it's utterly important to just be very graceful with ourselves when we are healing, to learn how to feel all our feelings and accept all of our feelings, be less judgmental of, oh, you're sad, no, get up, get going. Allow yourself to feel the feelings, because maybe these are feelings that you suppressed for many years, and they have to come up, they have to be expressed and felt, and they have to be expressed and felt in a safe way, and only you can give you that safe way. Unfortunately, the world will present us with a lot of challenges. Life will be lifing, and the only way that we can keep our balance, keep our sanity, keep our power, keep our star qualities is by protecting ourselves and our inner child. And I am slowly learning that, how to parent myself, how to give me what I missed in my childhood. And discipline is hard, and the things that I missed, it's hard. I don't know, sometimes I don't think I'm gonna make it, sometimes I do. I hope I make it. I hope this video has helped you in any way discover things inside of you. I also created an amazing class. It's called Feel Her. It's about feminine feeling sensations, not only physical. The class starts with me explaining why feeling is important, feeling all the feelings. And then we start the class by having some cacao that you probably can have at home, and having tasting, having sensations, because today is the new moon in Taurus. I did the class with this energy that is coming up for me, not only because my moon is in Taurus, but because this whole child, it's feeling the numb child, For that, we need to really be able to feel everything. So I was having in the class perfumes, smelling roses. These are half dead, so don't look. And then we go into dancing. Dancing shakes off the feelings and releases a lot, and I curate a playlist that helps you feel the feelings. And then we go into journaling that helps feel the feelings too, and I do a channeling meditation that I'm really good at that. And I read some of my poems that are the most visceral feeling ones. The poems are a little bit negative feelings, but since the class has really positive feelings, the poems help balance, because you need to be able to feel all the feelings. You can't just be in la la land feeling only positive. You need to allow yourself to go as deep as you can go high, because life is like the heartbeat. It can only go as high as it goes deep. And if you want to have a shallow life, you don't go as high, but you don't go as deep. You know, you don't feel as much pain, but you don't feel as much pleasure. So I believe it's important that we explore the full bandwidth of being human, the full duality of being in this earth, and we can unite it and accept all as one. You and me, one. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Mwah.